White, and fourth, Robert Norris.
Welcome, everyone, to the 48th annual running of the Dunnville Powerboat Grand Prix. I'm Mark Rothermel, and with me is Harry Wilson. Harry, this is thunder on the Grand.
It certainly is, Mark.
Donations at the gate, which are presented to the Dunnville Hospital Foundation. Chairman Dennis McDonald explains the purpose of the foundation and the important role of the boat races. The foundation wished to thank all those who attended Thunder on the Grand 91 for their continued support. Thunder 91, more than just noise.
Beautiful day, Mark Rothermel. As we look down at the pits, we see the EP class getting ready to go out into the water for the day's first race. We have some spectacular racing in front of us, Mark. Not only do we have the EP class, which is a production engine with a standard V-bottom boat, but we also have some of these flying tunnel boats. And Mark, I know that you know all about those.
Well, we certainly do, but this is the EP class, and we have 75 horsepower stock engines powering these boats into a speed probably in the range of 80 miles an hour today.
And Mark, there's a little change this year. These drivers now have what is called power trim. What does that do for a driver?
Well, it allows the driver to trim up the engine, therefore forcing the bow up and running faster. And also coming into corner, he'll trim down. But the white flag's up right now, and they're going to be starting in a moment.
And this is a Le Mans type start, ladies and gentlemen. As soon as that flag drops, the boat's coming to life. And there we have, we got a dead one at the water. Jason Sproul is dead in the water, but 747 is Brian Rodway is out very quickly, and
he's got the inside track, that's right.
And 54 is out there. It's Paul Crisco, a national champion, and Herb White on his outside. Let's watch what's happening. He's going up there.
Well, this is just like coming into a funnel right now. All the boats are trying to get around the first corner first, and it looks like, I think it's Paul Crisco out front.
Indeed it is. Paul Crisco seems to be stretching out inside, right beside him, and on the outside, they're coming in very fast right behind him.
We have three boats side by side fighting for second right now.
And that's Herb White, but it looks like very easily right now Paul Crisco has opened up a nice little lead as the other boat come in behind.
You bet. And he's got it trimmed out right now. I mean, he's forcing a lot of air under that boat. And then there's the boat coming up on his inside.
Yes, and you can see what they mean. Those boats are literally riding on a cushion of air as they come down the straightaway. Paul Crisco running beautifully right out of the waters.
You bet. And number 302, Tim Toth, is right behind him.
And then Herb White, 88, and 747, Brian Rodway, right close together.
But Crisco has a good lead build up right now after only one lap.
And coming out of that corner, you can see his now about how he pops out of the water, and that boat just starts to fly on a cushion of water. Oh, what a beautiful sight there. Paul Crisco, national champion last year, winner of many, many races in Canada, the United States, certainly has found some nice clean water out front.
You bet he has. And he's coming into this first pin, actually, and he's going to stay mainly tight to the course, I believe. He doesn't want to take any longer ways around than he has to, and that keeps the competition forced outside, and they're taking the long route.
Long way around the corner, yes, and as you can see there, what's happening, a very nice, smooth ride right now for Paul Crisco. Mark,
it is for Crisco, but for Tim Toth, he's having to fight a little bit of the wake of Paul Crisco right now.
Yeah,
we have a good race coming on now for third and fourth.
Oh, yeah, look at the nice race there, too, as we see Paul Crisco once again going into the corner. But right behind, we just saw a flash of it there. Maybe we can pick those boats coming up. Third and fourth place boats coming in. Paul Crisco, as we see, just going out of the camera angle there. He's back in again. running beautifully coming down that back straightaway.
Yeah, he's got that bow fairly high in the air right now, but he's very balanced. He's not chine walking. He's running straight. He's got it in control here.
Oh, yes. Now we can see as we switch camera angles here, we got a couple. That's young Jeremy Dunn, first year racing for him coming down. But once again, we see some other boats negotiating the corner from our high angle on the bridge. We have some nice shots there. But we're looking now for...
we have a problem.
Oh, we do indeed. This looks like Dave Bradbury. No, it isn't. It's boat number 111. I believe that's Gary.
That's Gary Eden. Gary Eden's got a problem with that engine. He's running very flat. Looks like its engine.
And watch Paul Crisco go flying past him. Now, smart, he's gone to the outside, letting Paul Crisco come inside for that corner.
Well, he basically had to. Crisco was taking the inside lane, and he had to get out of his way.
Now, these drivers, when they have engine problems, Mark, of course, they're always looking out not to get in the way of the other drivers who are in the thick of the battle. We're looking now nice camera there view of the boats coming around that top pin. Mark, when you go into a corner, what do you try to do as we zero in there, that boat?
Well, the first thing you have to do is start to land the boat again. You've got it aired out, coming down the straightaway. It's fairly loose, running on only maybe a few inches of the running surface on its pad. And you have to drop it into the water. You have to basically pivot the boat around the corner. So you have to trim the engine in, drop the boat, and then turn.
There's Jeremy Dunn. As I said, this is his rookie year, and he's running a Nissan motor, and they're a new entry into this.
Yeah, I love to see that. You know, Mercury and OMC have dominated powerboat racing for a long time, and we are getting some competition offshore here.
Well,
that's great.
And there's Paul Crisco, of course, your boat race leader, and we should be coming up to the final lap very shortly. Paul has got a beautiful lead on Tim Toth.
Yeah, Tim Toth you can see going by there. He's got it pretty loose too. He's running a little flatter than Crisco is actually at this point. He's doing a little bobbing in the corner at this point.
Oh, okay. When we see that going back again, you can see these boats going down the straightaway. How rough it gets back there.
He's chine walking right now.
Oh, right up on end.
Oh, yeah, he's loose.
That's David Bradbury from Peterborough in boat number 7.
He runs very well. He's generally a front runner. He's having a little bit of a tough time right now.
And it is really rough, as you can see. That boat just gets thrown from side to side when he hits that swell. So there's a real advantage of being out in front, isn't there?
It is. But, yeah, that's it. The lead boat always gets the advantage on the first lap. However, once the boats start to chop the water up, then everybody's in the same boat.
And at that point, what the good driver has to do is find an angle to run on. We're still watching David Bradbury going up the back straight there. He's looking like he's getting some good water back there in the back straight.
Yeah, he's also getting a lot of air. See, that bow keeps popping up on him.
Yeah, and he has to keep fingering that little control that brings the engine in and out.
The trim button,
That's right. Well, once again, there's Jeremy Dunn going through, and right behind him, as he comes through, you'll see Paul Crisco. As that camera angle goes back and Jeremy Dunn is there, Paul Crisco is threatening to lap him over.
Well, they're on their last lap right now. You know, Jeremy Dunn, of course, is the son of famous boat racer Spencer Dunn. Spencer Dunn's also in the Hall of Fame. Spencer ran a long time for Team Mercury and Team OMC, and he was one of the strongest drivers in Canada. And it looks like we have a little spin out in the bottom corner.
Yeah, we did. It looks like we're still waiting for Paul Crisco up here to pass Jeremy Dunn. There it was, and we saw the action, just a little bit of the swells there now. The boats have straightened themselves out from that bottom corner. But we're looking now for the finish line.
And here he comes. Here's Jeremy's on the inside, and Paul Crisco's on the outside. Jeremy's being lapped at this point.
We need the finish line.
You can see the speed that Paul Crisco has.
There it is, and Paul Crisco has their
speed. He's got a lot of speed coming across the finish line. And there he is.
Very unusual for somebody to lap on this course. That just tells you what kind of speed that Paul Crisco is capable of generating. And there's Timmy Toth, once again, rocking and rolling as he comes down the straightaway. He's your second-place finisher. Well, once again, looking at it there, obviously a very happy man as he shuts down his boat. Number 54, Paul Crisco.
Incidentally, Ian Creemar came in third position there, and he ran a good, consistent race. Sometimes what happens is these boats get set up a little too loose. It looked very calm out there, so they rigged their boat, balanced it, so they'd run on super flat water. Well, of course, the wind comes up in the middle of the race, and the water starts to get heavier, and then they're out of balance, and they can't hang on to it, literally.
And I guess you can get pretty shaken up in one of those boats when they start throwing you around like that, Mark.
Oh, they bounce you all the way around. It's not like a tunnel boat that rides on a cushion of air. These guys are running on top of the surface, and they're pounding. And
now, of course, you being a formal tunnel boat runner, I'm sure an EP driver would come up here and say you wouldn't want to drive one of those tunnels because they get too flighty. But nice way to start off the day of racing here, Mark. A good run by Paul Crisco. As you said, Timmy Toth right behind, and Ian Kremer, and they're out again sometime later in the schedule.
They sure are. Tim Toth is looking over his shoulder, making sure it's safe to go in. They have to basically wait till all the other boats clear the course. They all stop, and then they come in on the yellow flag.
And, of course, you can just hear right now, that's Jeremy Dunn. He has just completed his last lap. And now the referee will raise probably the black flag, which is an indicator for all the drivers to go into the pits. The racing for this heat is over, but as I said, we'll be seeing these EPs back again later in the program.
You bet.
Mark, we're EP class in the first heat. Paul Crisco got off to an excellent start, and that was the deciding factor in his victory over arch rival Tim Toth. As we said, a good start is a very, very important ingredient, but as we saw in the stock outboard class, John Webster, who unfortunately had a flip, found out that you had to keep the boat upside, right side up and happy, but also, very important, Wayne Stewart was able to keep Harold Fennell behind him because he had the inside track all the way through the race. We'll see what happens about that little battle in the second heat. In the SST 75 class, national champion Steve Huff demonstrates that sometimes it's pure speed that wins. Although Tim Wood had an excellent start, and indeed he did have the inside track for a long time, Steve Huff's speed finally prevailed. In the modified unlimited class, we saw what driving does when you get a real driver into a boat. And not that Bill McGonigal isn't a real driver, but Rob Wood, taking an angle on the outside and getting an angle on him, slammed the door